What's going on, love? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to your collective message of the day. For those of you all who are new here, my name is Shawnee, and this is Melanated Mindfulness Tarot, where I upload daily collective messages for us all throughout the week. I have also finally gotten a schedule as to how and or when I will be uploading messages for each zodiac sign. So if those are things that you may be interested in, make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you will not miss out on the spiritual gems, tips, and conversations and things of that nature that happen on this channel. Okay. Again, today is going to be like a what do we need to know, spirit, what do we need to be made aware of type of message. So let us get into that. All thanks and praise to the Most High Spirit. You know our hearts and you know our situations. Can you please give us the cards that we need in order for us to be able to receive this message at hand with an open mind and an open heart? I also ask that you give me the words to articulate this message in the best way possible, as well as clear out anything standing in the way of our clarification, confirmation, transformation, and healing at this time. Ashe. Is there more cards that we need at this time? Thank you. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to start with what we have thus far. Underneath it all is the Nine of Swords. Okay, and this is pretty much an indicator of like some overthinking, not really being in control of your thoughts, allowing your thoughts to kind of like drain you, make you feel some type of way, right? Putting you in the energy of like, I guess just feeling down, right? Having some type of internal conflict, because the Five of Wands also shows up, and then the Nine of Disc. So the Nine of Swords, the Five of Wands in reverse, and then the Nine of Disc also shows up underneath it all, which is again like you kind of battling with yourself, you being in this energy where it's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, right? Like, what actions am I really supposed to take? And in all honesty, love, like, it's not as complicated as it may seem. However, I do want you to know, like, even if that's the energy that you have been experiencing or you've been in and out of that energy, it is going to come to pass. And that's why the things that are on the table right now are things that we need to be made aware of, right? The first card out is the Two of Cups. Okay, so with this Two of Cups, it's pretty much given pour into yourself, right? I don't know if you have expectations of other people doing certain things or showing up in a certain type of way, but any expectation that you have of somebody else is something that you want to make sure that you are also doing for yourself. So on the surface, you may be looking at it as, you know, other people are supposed to be doing these things for you. However, you want to make sure, again, that in every area and aspect that you are showing up for yourself in the same way or an even better way that you're expecting other people to, right? The next card that comes up is the Ace of Wands in reverse. So this is some resistance to actually putting in the necessary action that needs to be taken. It's given that, like, we are, for lack of better words, right, we're conditioned or we're programmed to move a certain way and to do certain things based on like the societal standards or the societal norms or the cultural norms and things of that nature. And a lot of times we tend to dismiss ourselves and put ourselves to the side to show up and do what we think we're supposed to be doing for everybody else. Does that make sense? So right now, it's really given like, I need you to show up for you how you show up for everybody else, or even how you want other people to show up for you. Yeah, I know we've been taught certain things, but at some point you also want to make sure that whatever you are operating in, how you're moving, like, you got to make sure that those things are also working for you. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're, you know, it doesn't make you less than because you're deciding to figure out how you need to move. Up front, there's going to be people who are not going to be receptive to this energy. Don't let that stop you. Don't let that stop you. Yes, it may seem uncomfortable initially because you're going to have those people who are going to criticize, your new ways of being, the changes that you're making, because they're not familiar with it. So that, yeah, they will think like, oh, this person is acting funny, or they're doing this, or they acting brand new, and it's like that's the goal. Like, I don't want to be the same person that I was 2 days ago, or last week, or even 2 years ago. We come into new information every day, and with that new information we do something with it, right? Something with it. It's okay for you to start pouring into yourself, for you to becoming more aware of yourself, you getting to know yourself, your likes and your dislikes, and not feeling like, oh, because certain people around me have certain titles, or I've invested this much time with these individuals, like I'm supposed to just stick around and just tolerate the nonsense, because that's not it. If you are putting yourself in a position and it's not benefiting you, right? It's taking away from you. It's putting you in this 9 of Swords energy where it's making you have to overthink. These thoughts of overthinking, they're happening just so that you can become aware of what it is that you do or do not want to tolerate, right? Like, what is it that there's a difference between accepting things and tolerating things, right? I want you to understand that. You can accept a person for who they are. You can accept a situation for what it is, but do you have to tolerate it? No, you don't. You have to start looking at yourself like, okay, this is not okay with me. Moving forward, how am I going to, like, what am I going to do about this? Right? And you can have a conversation with an individual, but you want to have that conversation knowing that, okay, I cannot change how this person thinks or how this person feels, right? Now, if they choose to alter or modify or adjust whatever needs to be adjusted, okay, cool, that's a plus. But if they don't, which is a 50-50 chance, right? If they choose to keep on operating in this way that is not suitable for who I am or who I'm becoming, what am I willing to do moving forward? I want you to think about that. Like, keep that in mind when you do address certain situations or have certain conversations. With the 6 of Swords showing up in the reverse, this is really giving the energy of like, you don't think you know it all, right? With all due respect, sometimes we get into these situations where we like, they know better. They should know better because I know better, or they should know better because they old enough, and they like, whatever it is. But you got to understand, you have to realize that we're not raised, like, people are not raised a certain way, the same way. And even if we are raised in a household, like how can I say that? Even if we're raised in the same household or under similar standards, it doesn't mean that we've received them the same way. It doesn't mean that we've processed this information the same way, and things of that nature. So once you, again, learn to accept things for what they are, accept people for who they are, then it gives you more power, right? More opportunity, I would say, to dictate or determine what your next move is going to be or how you're going to move forward. Does that make sense? And by doing that, you pretty much open yourself up to being able to receive new things, everything that is meant for you, sort of, kind of speak, right? Because if you accept things for what they are on the surface, again, once you decide how you're going to move or how you're going to operate with that energy, you open up new doors, right? Like, you're not stuck in what you've been used to or what you've been taught to normalize. In the moment where you accept this new information, right, opposed to you holding on to what you thought it was supposed to be or the potential of what you wanted it to be or whatever the case may be, you can move in a way where you're now opening yourself up to be able to receive or align yourself with the very things that you require. I hope that makes sense. And again, there's going to be people who are not going to who are not going to want to accept who you are or who you're becoming, right? But they're going to have to, right? They're going to have, like, if you're changing and you're transitioning, they're going to have to accept it. Doesn't mean they have to tolerate it. Doesn't mean they're obligated to stick around. But this is who I am. This is what I'm coming with. This is how I'm coming. And it's not, for anybody else outside of ourselves. this is because this is what works for us, right? Like, this is what works for us. And I want you to, like I said, keep that in mind moving forward. You are your main priority. You have to make sure that you are taken care of first, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, right? Take care of you first. And stop being overwhelmed with thinking that because this is what we grew up in, or this is how you grew up in a situation, that this is what you have to tolerate. This is what you have to deal with, because it's not. It's not. So when you have this, when you're battling with yourself and you're fighting against yourself on doing the thing that you feel as though you're supposed to be doing in order for you to become a better person, the next best version of yourself, understand why, right? Start pulling back the layers to even identify why. Like, why are you battling with yourself about this? Is it because you don't want to disappoint somebody else? Is it because you're afraid? Like, there's a number of different things, or a number of different reasons why we hold ourselves back from doing what we feel, think, and or know is best for us moving forward. So when it comes to the collective message, that is what we need to be aware of. Make sure that we are putting ourselves first. Make sure that we are willing to, accept things for what they are, and then moving forward from that, deciding whether or not it's something that we're willing to tolerate, because you're not necessarily obligated to. All right. Yeah, we're just going to leave that there because I don't want to have to keep you here for too long. But I definitely hope that this has assisted you, that it gave you some different type of insight, gave you some type of clarity, some type of something that you needed in this time. Again, if you have not subscribed to the channel already, make sure that you subscribe, and have an amazing rest of your day. Peace.